What's up, people? I'm back. Sorry I didn't do a video yesterday. Bad Boys, I'm just not doing on the weekend. But I did want to do this video. Today, we're doing my rewrite of the finale of the Jurassic World trilogy, Jurassic World Dominion, which I'll be honest, I actually scripted a little bit. Not necessarily scripted, it was like, put some ideas on a paper. And to be honest, just simply put, this movie needed a rewrite from just everything because what they gave us and what we were promised really was this supposed to be this movie that explored the dinosaurs on the mainland, and I really felt like they never explored it. They threw in some random plot about locusts that wasn't needed, so that's obviously going to be gone. Macy's not in this world. I'm sorry, I just never liked the character, and then in Dominion she was just there to be angsty, annoying teenager. And Biosyn has much more of a role because I felt like they were almost only brought in just because, oh guys, remember Biosyn? Remember Biosyn? Because I just felt like you could have did more. Same with Dodson. You make him more like the book Dodson. Because Dodson in the book is a piece of shit. Like, he's a very much a bad guy. You could have done more with in the movies. And you could have gone more in that route and make him a legit bad guy. And the Giganotosaurus is going to be much more of a player in my movie. Because I've always wanted the Giganotosaurus. And also, ideally, it would be a different design. I didn't really love the design they had in the movie. The one we actually got just looked like generic. It did not look good. The Giganotosaurus, funny enough, in the Jurassic World Evolution game, looks much better than it did in the movie. So that would be ideally the design I'd go with, not the one we got. Before I get into it, tomorrow I'll be watching No Holds Barred. We'll be roasting that. Another Bad Hogan I'm going to be doing. It's called Santa with Muzzle. I have never heard of this movie. It's Hulk Hogan, basically as Santa. And I've heard. Sorry if I'm sweating. It's hot as fuck here. So, but yeah, it's called Santa with Muscles. So I might next Wednesday be doing that, but tomorrow we're gonna be doing No Holds Barred. But today, let's get into it. Basically, ideally, where my Jurassic World Dominion rewrite would start is you have a little bit of a prologue where it's set, I'll say 2021. So 3 years after the events of Fallen Kingdom. So the dinos have been ingrained into the mainland for the past 3 years. You have like new stories. You have like, how I mentioned the Mosasaurus in the last movie. There's gonna be like a Mosasaurus scene where it attacks sailors. That's gonna be stories, almost like an urban legend where you got Mosasaurus killing sailors in a certain part of the sea. Maybe people kind of go like how people do cryptids. Maybe you got a video, you see like a T-Rex killing cattle, or people go missing in the woods, things like that. Like, I really felt like they needed to really dive, even go into like how the dinosaurs are actually fucking up the ecosystem. You have a scientist just maybe like it's a scientist on like TV talking about like how the dinosaurs are really fucking up the ecosystem. You mentioned that the Mosasaurus is killing almost all the whales. The amount of whales that are just disappearing because the Mosasaurus is the top predator of the sea now. And now that it's in the mainland, I really would love them to explore. And there's repercussions. Claire, is I hearing where should she go to jail? Obviously, I'm not going to have her go to jail, but I just felt like there needed to be some kind of consequence, or even at least attempt at a consequence for Claire. Well, ideally, in my version, would have been Claire pushed the button, but there needed to be some kind of repercussions from that. Obviously, you got repercussions on the planet, but I also like the idea of repercussions for these characters. You fucking released the dinosaurs. There needed to be. You're telling me no one would do anything about that, especially if that was found out. So I really would have loved that. This film is almost going to be 3 hours, just because I'm going to but I'm not going to have a drag. It's going to be a lot of lore stuff, tying things together. Alan and, like I said, mentioned in the last video, Alan and Ellie have kids of their own, and you see like, oh cool, it's kind of like a quick cameo like you got in Lost World. Tim and Lex have a little cameo where they're talking with their kids. It's almost like it goes full circle, because the way Alan took care, protected, Lex and Tim, kind of what got them to have kids of their own. And in my mind, Jurassic Park 3, I don't even acknowledge. Minus, obviously, I'm going to bring in the Spinosaurus at some point in the story. But that's about the only thing from that movie I'm acknowledging. So, Alan and Ellie have no choice but to go help Claire and Owen do their mission, because they have to try to stop Biosyn, because Biosyn basically wants to make their own Jurassic Park. Now that the Jurassic Park has fallen, so they're starting to like take dinosaurs and they want to make their own park. So, Biosyn's just kind of like traveling around. Like, for right now, it's not necessarily the world. Mainly the mosasaurs might be around the world, but like every other dinosaur, it's mainly in America. But for a while, who knows how worse it can get. So, the music is definitely going to be the big part of the movie. And Biosyn, I want more as we go more into like, but I don't want it to be like an exposition dump. Maybe there'll be a scene where you do have Dodson talking about it, but you throughout the film maybe highlight that he met with John Hammond pre the original film and try to talk about Biosyn working with InGen before they became rivals. But he saw that Dodson was maybe you even have a story that they worked together, that Dodson worked at Jurassic Park originally, or something like that. I don't know. He had some kind of tie to John Hammond, and John Hammond saw how much of a bad person he was. They had fallen off, and that's why he created InGen. And he's almost doing it as like a warped sense of, I'm doing this for John Hammond, making his own Jurassic Park. And that's where I'm going to go with it. And we have a scene where Rexy ends up getting captured by Biosyn, because they're going to try to, like I said, they want to make their own park. So, but Owen and Claire try to stop them. And what they want to do, tying it back to Sorna, is Claire, in a way, wants to try to fix what she did. And she figures you can't take every dinosaur, but maybe if we try to stop Biosyn, we could take these animals back to Sorna, like they planned in the last film. So it all just ties together. That's kind of what I'm trying to go for here. There's a thread. Because I felt like the one thing, especially because you could tell, I don't think they ever planned. I know they announced after the first Jurassic World that they wanted to do a trilogy. But I will say not as bad as the sequels like Star Wars, but I do think they didn't really plan it out. Because I don't really think there was any connective tissue. A little bit with World and Fallen Kingdom, but I felt like from Kingdom to Dominion, there was no thread. So I wanted a continuous thread of the stories being tied to tie these three films together. So, have a scene where the T-Rex is still scary. Like, I'm not trying to treat Rexy as like fucking a superhero, because that's what killed partially some of the trilogies. Also, Blue doesn't have a kid. Mostly is doing her own thing. But Biosyn ends up capturing her, obviously. And there's even a scene where Blue has to. They're trying to do what Owen did with the first Jurassic World and train raptors. So they put Blue with another set of raptors that they try to train. But keep in mind, these raptors, you know what? I'll do something. I know it'll be a little cameo-y, but at least it would make sense. Some of the raptors have distinct designs. Like one of them might look like the raptors you saw in the Lost World, like with the orange stripes. I'll do the feathered one from JP3, and then another one just kind of looks like like a regular Velociraptor, but they're all too aggressive. And maybe there's even a scene they try to all go at Blue or something like that, and because he's trying to make his own raptors, but not for like they did with Jurassic World. I'm not trying to go the route of military. That was stupid. I was trying to like train, like having trained raptors like for the island, because he's trying to continue that idea, but obviously it works. There's going to be a scene. This will be a little bit later in the film. The island is on one of the. There's the 5 deaths. So I'm not actually going to bring. I can't think of one of the islands' name right now, but one of the islands that's not mentioned in the movie. I decided I'm going to bring one of them in. Biosyn. While after the events of the first Fallen Kingdom where the island blew up, they managed to sneak past and take one of the islands over and repurpose it to a park. And they definitely what I'm going to lean into is they're going to try to make it look really very much like the first Jurassic Park. Things go wrong. I have a scene where the dinosaurs all break out and it's going to go crazy. We have a fight towards the end, and one of the dinosaurs is the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3. Or it's a different. I'll have it be a different Spinosaurus, but it will look similar to the JV3 one, because it is going to be a little weird that the one from JV3 is somehow still alive, very much not explained. So, because by the time, I feel like by 2001 and now it would be dead. So, or by the time Fallen Kingdom came out, or Dominion came out, it would have been dead or close to dying. So I figured it's a different one. So, but the Giganotosaurus, I want to make, the idea they were trying to make it like a villain. If they were going to do it, it didn't kill anyone. It wasn't scary, but I would treat it like an animal. But there's a scene, you could have had a very much a scary scene where it's chasing like the main crew, and it ends up killing some of them. And I'm not going to really bring any new characters in. I just don't really see the point. I think you stick to the main characters you have, and the tone I'm trying to go for here, it's like a mix. It has a little bit of Lost World dark moments, but I still want to have the amazement of dinosaurs of the first one, so of the original. So you have like scenes where you'll see Brachiosaurus just eating, or a Stegosaurus just in herds. Maybe even kind of like the scene you had in Dominion. Probably the only positive I have of that movie, where you had some of the animals integrating with like the dinosaurs with regular animals. That would have been kind of something like that. But I do want to have a bit of scary and make, obviously, Dr. Wu dies in this one, kind of like in the book, because in the book he gets killed by raptors. So it's going to be one of the raptors that, but Dr. Wu, basically has something happen where Dotson fucks him over. And then obviously I'm gonna have Dotson die like a very much a brutal death. Like I said, the film's gonna be close to 3 hours, just because it's gonna be a lot of storytelling. I want very much them to like really hammer home why dinos on the mainland is a bad idea. There's gonna be a scene. Obviously, I'm gonna tweak it a little bit. It's not gonna be a baby, because I know in the book there's a scene. So this is towards the end of the first book, where compies, which were actually not even in the first film, get in, because they get on the mainland, get in someone's house. This lady hears like noises, and then she goes to the baby's room, and you see compies eating her baby. So I'm not gonna do a baby. I'll have it be like her husband or something, or if you're gonna have it be a kid, have it be like a teenager. I just think a baby that's a little, especially for a Jurassic Park film. Yeah, but something like that where it's eating, or like really hammer home Obviously, I'm not gonna go like too like. I mean, as much as I love the San Diego sequence, I don't want to do too much of that, where you got like a T Rex rampaging in the city. That was cool for that film. I want to keep it almost like local, and what I mean is like in a lot of like woodlands and like smaller neighborhoods, you know. Have a seed like this probably would be towards the end, where you have John Hammond's words, like maybe even get his words from like one of the films that wasn't, or you just something that wasn't used, and put it in the movie. And the legacy characters each have have their own moment in the movie where you have Ian trying to almost he almost has like a change of heart. It's not gonna be a flat out change. He starts to appreciate these animals. It's like he appreciated the animals pre the first, like in the first movie, once he sees the dinosaurs, before obviously everything, he gets injured. But after he gets injured, and then definitely by like Lost World, he's not a dino fan. Like he's very much doesn't really like these animals. But there's going to be a scene where he kind of starts to grow as a character and kind of starts to appreciate him again. And you still have Dr. Grant still have that love of dinosaurs. I've always kind of hated what Jurassic Park 3 did, where they just randomly made him bitter towards dinosaurs, which made no sense because he already had that with Ian Malcolm, which actually I think that makes more sense with him because he got fucked up. I feel like he's more. It makes more sense with his character. I don't know why they did it with Grant. It just felt so out of place because I feel like Grant truly knows these are just animals. He understands that, you know. I felt like he always knew the danger of something like this happening with dinosaurs getting out. He knows they're animals. Even like look at the first movie. After the breakout, he has the kids, they're running from the dinosaurs. When the T-Rex kills the Gallimimus, you see Alan have like that awe still for the T-Rex, even though he had a bad experience with the T-Rex just the day before. But the next day, he's still like in awe of the T-Rex when it's eating because he still loves these animals. So it makes no sense that by the third film he just hates them now. It's like he calls them monsters. It was just no, none of that's in this movie. Alan Grant loves these animals. I want to have him and Ellie have like a very much. I want them to have a lot of genuine scenes together. They use their paleontology to help have him and Owen have a very much an awesome discussion because that's the one thing I felt like World Dominion really dropped the ball and not really having Owen and Alan having a moment because Alan, he's always been, starting from the first film, been fascinated with raptors, and to see have him interact with Owen, who trains raptors all the time, maybe even have a scene he interacts with Blue, not make it cheesy, but like because I still ideally in my version, I want Blue to have a little bit of scary in her. I don't want her to just be superhero raptor like they kind of in the first Jurassic World. I think Blue was done the best because she was still a primal raptor in moments. She wasn't just superhero. I felt like it was Fallen Kingdom and Dominion that really leaned into Blue being a superhero. And like I said, Blue's not gonna have a kid. If okay, you know what? Even though I said in the strip or the paper, no Blue baby, I'll add it. It's gonna be in the end though. Not because I felt like the way they did it was clearly Baby Yoda, and I get it. Dinosaurs having babies. It's just because it came out right after like the Baby Yoda thing. It just felt like you're just doing Baby Yoda. It was because Baby Yoda, so we gotta have Baby Blue. So I'm like, all right, I'll do Baby Blue, but it's gonna be in the very end of the film, like in the basically epilogue of the film. But because that's what, and also I felt like all Baby Blue was also just a MacGuffin. Oh, we gotta save Baby Blue along with Maisie. That's why I wrote them out the movie. They were just there. We gotta save them, get them, and then that's the plot. Yeah. So the Giganotosaurus has just been causing havoc in all the movies, just killing people. And like I said, there's gonna be innocent people dying in it. Like I think that's one thing that really felt like. I'm gonna say it again that the World Trilogy just really was. They were so scared to kill. Just well, the World had the Zara scene, but every other one after that, they were just so scared to kill off quote unquote good guys. When like you look at Lost World, Eddie Carr's death, these are animals. They don't look at you as good or bad. And the fact that they only want like basically so called only the bad guys are like hunter characters, mercenaries, those are the only characters that are allowed to get killed. It takes me out of it because that's not how animals work. They don't care if you love animals, they'll still kill these animals will still kill you. There's even a scene, maybe there's like a dino rice person that gets killed by a let's say it, a T-Rex. And there's gonna be a scene where it's gonna like kind of like, and this is once again gonna be in the epilogue, where Rex meets Buck and Doe from Lost World. You know, because I've always wanted that scene. I've always felt like that was a nice little scene. That's the only thing I'll give Dominion. That was a cool scene. I'm assuming they don't say it, but I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Buck and Doe from Lost World. So there's gonna be a scene where Rexy goes to Sorna. So basically, that's kind of the idea. Basically, I'll spoil where the dinosaurs end up. Owen and Claire manage to take some of the dinosaurs back to Sorna. The Spinosaurus is back on Sorna. T-Rex and the Spinosaurus kill the Giganotosaurus, but I'm not doing it all. They don't have like a nod. They kill and they roar at each other, walk away. I actually think at least if they roared at each other, that would at least be okay. And the Spinosaurus does kill somebody too. I'm not just gonna have it just there to save, be a hero. There's gonna be a scene where it does kill some people. But yeah. Yeah, just making sure it's still filmed. But yeah, so that's ideally where I'm gonna be taking it. Some of the dinosaurs still remain in the mainland because, like I said, they didn't take every dinosaur. You have Hammond giving this like speech. You have like this epilogue, which goes through each character's, ending or like where they go. Owen and Claire end up married, and they're thinking about having kids. Maybe you have a scene where Claire has a pregnancy test. Blue's in the wild with her own pack of raptors almost and a baby. Rexy, like I said, ends up with the Buck and Doe, so she has like her own Rex family. The Mosasaur still rules the seas. Biosyn obviously is defunct. They ended up getting prosecuted. The people who were alive anyway, who are still alive, end up getting prosecuted. And you have like the classic Jurassic Park theme playing, not like a newer version, no, like the classic Jurassic Park theme from the first movie playing while this epilogue's happening. And yeah, and then you just kind of end with kind of like Dominion did. You have Ian Malcolm giving a speech, and it just kind of ends with life finds a way, and life found a way. Maybe I'll make it, yeah. So that's ideal. That's where I wanted. That's my Jurassic Park Dominion rewrite. I just felt like there needed to be more heart in the film, and that's especially for a final of a trilogy. The third one should always be like the one with the most heart, in a way, like Return of the King, most heart. I even think Back to the Future 3 almost has the most heart of the three movies. I love the first two, but in terms of the way it ends, I feel like 3, especially very much a Doc-oriented story, obviously Revenge of the Sith, or you can also add Return of the Jedi, both like the heart of like those trilogies. And I think that's what I'm going for, and I just think Dominion wasn't, because they clearly just wanted to do a trilogy just for the money. But if you're gonna do it, they didn't plan it. So, like each character has a send off. Like I said, Alan and Ellie are back with their kids, and their kids. You know what? One of them is like, I want to be a paleontologist like you. So maybe they're like at a dig site, and their daughter, who's maybe their oldest, becomes a paleontologist along with their son. So they have a son and a daughter, and they both become paleontologists. So almost like a passing of a torch. You know what? Yeah. And then, like I said, Ian is actually one of the people that secretly run this Sorna Island. That they're like, this is gonna be left alone and let life, you know, find a way. You know, that's basically ideally where Ian's speech is gonna be. Like, so that's basically my Jurassic World Dominion rewrite. I've been enjoying doing these because, you know, it's not, don't get me wrong, I like writing on stuff and doing reviews, you know, but I do like doing rewrites. Or, you know, the fixes or whatever you want to call them, what I used to call them. I wouldn't, like I said, I'm going to be doing one for the Halloween, the new Halloween trilogy, like when we get closer to Halloween. Like, probably going to be starting those in October. I would assume I'd be starting them. And then I really enjoyed this role. I've been enjoying these. I like giving solutions. I hated Dominion, but I figured why not? I mean, I did a rewrite around the time. I call it a fixing, though, at the time. Around the time it came out. But I figure now that I did the entire trilogy, I can do more of a long form. Because I just went through the entire 3 movies of rewriting it. Why not? So, maybe I'll figure out what a trilogy I need to rewrite before Halloween, because I kind of want to do this again. To be honest, I'll figure out what to do, and we'll go from there. But anyways, guys, tomorrow I'm gonna be doing No Holds Barred for Bad Movies Wednesdays. Bad Movie Wednesdays makes a comeback finally. We'll be doing that. I'm sorry, guys, on the Screen Rant Gay front. I just can't find anything lately. They've just been not putting anything that I want to cover. If I'm being honest, like, I haven't put anything I really want to cover. I even looked at CBR, and they didn't even put anything I really wanted to talk about either. So, I'll figure out what to do, because I do miss doing those videos, but it's like, lately, they're just not really even putting me. I mean, they're still doing cringe, but it's like nothing I really want to cover. So, anyways, guys, No Holds Barred for Bad Movie Wednesdays. Thursday, I'll be doing Pumpkinhead 3. And then Friday, OG Planet of the Apes. But I'll be talk to y'all later. Peace.